Hey guys, I'm Christine, and today I'm so excited we have with us Brie. Brie is not only my friend, but she's also a farmer who I buy produce from. She runs a CSA. It's called Breadlock Botanicals. It's naturally grown produce without pesticides and beautiful flowers. All my bouquets that you may have seen in the background have been compliments of Brie. So I'm really excited to just talk about a topic that has come up again and again when I teach classes. Everyone knows I'm a huge organic produce fan, and people will ask me, is it really worth it? Do I need to buy organic? And that's what I thought we would just chat about, because Brie has an extensive background with organic farming and just knows a lot about it. So I thought we'd just chat about,
talk about organic.
Yeah, exactly. So first we'll start off with, what is organic farming? So what would you say if someone asked you?
Well, the difference between conventional organic farming is that you don't use synthetic pesticides or herbicides and non-GMO seed and crops.
Right. Yeah, great. So it's a more natural, it's actually the way my dad jokes, he said, when I grew up on the farm, everything was, naturally organic. So people just used to eat that way. It's before we had that introduction of all these heavy pesticides that we have today.
Yeah, you don't see that until like the 1950s, 60s, where, glyphosate and other chemicals were introduced into the soil. So we're actually kind of going back, to the old ways, even though it's like a nuanced agriculture. It's actually what we've been doing for thousands of years.
Yeah, exactly. So I love, eating organic produce. It's just an intuitive thing on my part. I feel like it's more flavorful. Yes, you might get a tomato that has more bad spots because it's grown without pesticides, but I don't mind cutting them out, and it has so much flavor. Do you find you feel that way?
Yeah.
And just environmentally speaking, it's so much better for the planet. We're not getting all that runoff of all the chemicals and pesticides, right?
Yeah, sewage from other farms. And, the main thing with organic agriculture is, just protecting your soil and having a healthy soil, because then that just goes straight into the food you're eating. So if you don't have that, you're definitely going to taste a difference in something that's grown conventional and someone that's growing organic.
Exactly. Isn't there also more crop rotation and just, not stripping the soil? If you, my understanding, I'm not a farmer, but my understanding is if you grow the same crop again and again in the same plot of land, you're, stripping that of certain minerals and nutrients. Whereas if you're rotating crops that take different things from the soil, you're keeping the soil enriched, right?
Yeah, definitely. And you don't see a lot of monocropping in organic, which is just having acres and acres of the same thing, like tomatoes or garlic. In organic, mostly you see small patches, and then that's rotated each year or even quarterly throughout the year. And that definitely helps with the soil, because when you monocrop, you run into the problem of having disease and nematodes get into the soil. And once you have that, it's really hard to fix.
I don't even know what a nematode is. It sounds like
they're really bad.
It's not an amphibian, right?
No, they're like, I want to say kind of like worms, but I don't want to, okay. I don't really know, but I know it's popular with garlic. If you plant garlic in the same spot every year, you get that. And then once you have that, you can't grow anything in the soil. It just depletes the soil of everything. You can't even, forget about growing garlic anywhere in the vicinity for the next 10 years.
Wow, good to know. So so those kind of issues are not a problem when you're growing more organically. And let's talk about GMOs for a second. How about GMOs like that? We could do a whole video just on genetically modified organisms and what that's doing to our food chain. And it's just all an experiment. This is a very new thing, splicing salmon genes and mouse genes with a tomato. Who knows what repercussions we're going to get from that.
I mean, we don't know down the road.
And look at cancer rates, how they're increasing. Maybe it's not a coincidence with what we're doing with our food supply and the environment as well. So, and we were talking before we got on camera about just how one aspect of genetically modified foods is that they are more resistant to pesticides, so that you can actually apply more pesticides to them. So you're actually getting...
Exactly, that was just what I was going to say, because it affects the insects and, you're spraying it, and when it goes along with monocropping, when you have that big crop and you're using GMO seed, you can just keep adding more and more pesticides and herbicides, and who knows what that's going to be like down the road. And that just leaches right into the soil, getting into our water, into our oceans. So it's best to just not spray, in my opinion.
Yeah, I totally agree. And look at, these lawsuits that are happening, million and billion dollar lawsuits against, Roundup, for example, which is one of the pesticides that's sprayed on these crops. So yeah, so anyway, lots of reasons to eat organic produce, and it just, you know, it's very tasty, fresh, delicious. Plus you can also support your local agriculture, like Brie, who has Breadluck Botanicals. It's a CSA farm where you can buy a share for the season, and it's much more affordable. You know, you pay up front, but then, you know, if you break it down to the weekly cost, it's much more affordable. And
well, you'd be buying in the grocery store, maybe even a little bit less.
Yeah, exactly. Plus you're supporting your local commerce. So
and you can have sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
no,
off.
please,
you can have, and like farm to home experience, where I do pick your own, where you can come in, you know, pick your bouquet and do a different bouquet each week, or you can pick all the same flowers. So that's what I specialize in, is flowers in my farm. Yeah,
that's great. I love it. So farm to table, not only your delicious meal, but also your beautiful flower arrangements for the table. So it's great. And this is great for our kids too. You know, you think of children's developing bodies, they're more susceptible to, you know, chemicals and these contaminants. So, you know, why give our kids these, you know, chemicals in their diet, on their plate, if they don't need to be there, if we can choose organics?
And especially with insecticides, because they alter the hormones of the insects. We don't know what that does to our bodies, especially a growing child.
Yeah, exactly. So our children and the insects themselves, when we think about bees, the adaptations, don't they say that bees are play a major role in all of our food? Like if the bees went away suddenly, guess what? We
no
probably
pollinators. Scary. Think
so
about.
That's scary. So anyway, these are all great reasons. These are all of our answers. The next time you're wondering, like, gee, you know, this one's organic and this one's not, and you know, which one should I choose?
Spend the extra $1 because it's worth it.
It's worth it. It's your health insurance. I think of it like health insurance. I'd rather not get that new pair of whatever pants and spend that money on, you know, healthy ingredients and wear thrift store clothes if I have to. So.
Your body's the only place to live, and this earth.
Exactly.
That's what you have. But you might ask why organic agriculture is more expensive than conventional. Because you're like, well, you're not spraying, you're not using chemicals, you don't have to buy all that, so why am I paying more? But it's just, it comes down to manual labor. People are hand weeding in the fields. They're, you know, monitoring each crop. They might have to cover it with row cover and just watch it all year, which takes a lot of time and patience. So you have to hire more labor, and therefore the costs are higher.
Not to mention the cost of certification. You know, a lot of farmers out there are technically organic, but they can't afford the certification. It's ironic that these days we have to pay so much to be certified in something that used to just be the way everyone farmed.
Exactly. It's definitely a big expense and a lot of paperwork.
Yeah, but well worth the little bit of extra cost. If you can budget that in, I would say make that a priority. All right, guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this topic and you want to hear more about organics and that kind of organic living, let me know, and give this video a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.